752-401-6917.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks on a bright, shiny Monday morning. Hot after the shower. Elsa, gone. Don't worry about it. Atlanta Braves baseball season is gone. Don't even worry about it. We had a fight over the weekend in the UFC. Conor McGregor's leg gone. Broken. Getting off the lifestyle brought to you by Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center and Penn Flooring joined us. Galen, good weekend for sports on the weekend. If you like injuries, because Ronald Acuna Jr. tore his knee up. Complete tear of the ACL, season-ending surgery. Then Conor McGregor in the third fight, the trilogy fights with Poirier, he suffers a broken leg towards the end of the first round and gets a technical loss by doctor stoppage. And then the one of the longest droughts in PGA history, Lucas Glover wins after almost 11 years since his last win. So a lot went on this weekend.
Yeah, nobody watched the John Deere Classic or whatever they're calling it now.
I did. I watched it.
That's fun.
What do you mean? I watched it.
That's fun.
Quad Cities, baby.
No, I mean, I will tell you that Acuna Jr. injury was. I read it and I'm like, because as a Braves fan, you really have nothing else to look forward to.
Nah.
Right? I mean, how many games could Freddie Freeman win by himself? I guess is not a question. Are the Braves? Do they have to go into full-blown tank mode now?
Unless they have a prospect that comes up that fills that spot and just plays out of his mind.
No, nobody's going to fill that spot. Acuna Jr. is arguably top 3 guy under 25. You're not going to replace that. And he was why you watch the Braves. I mean, he made them interesting. They're no longer an interesting team. They're just not. They're going to be tough for you to watch now.
It was tough yesterday, I'll be honest with you. I watched the Miami Marlins beat the Braves, and it was tough yesterday because now they have no pitching, no starting pitching, no bullpen, no chance to get a leadoff guy on that could hit home runs. It's the Atlanta Braves of the 1980s.
Yeah, you'll probably finish 4th in the division now.
Yeah. Mets, Phillies, and the Nationals. Yeah, Mets, Phillies, and the Nationals.
And it'll just be a battle between you and the Miami Marlins. And I think you play them 6 more times, so you're in trouble.
You're not telling this Braves fan anything, pal. You're really not telling. Hey, speaking of in trouble.
Yeah.
Speaking of in trouble, I saw this last night and I went, what? How's this not leading all the sportscast? And then I saw it because, I saw it in a little blurb. So, soccer teams call them friendlies when you play games that are exhibition games before a big tournament or before the Olympics or stuff. The U.S. women's soccer team has been playing friendlies here recently where they're just crushing their opponents because they're the U.S. women's team, the number 1 team in the world at soccer. So you expect the U.S. women's team to just crush in their friendlies, and they are. Well, in basketball, they call them exhibitions, but they're friendly, same way. And the U.S. team loses to Nigeria, a team they were a 30-point favorite over? Come on.
Well,
Kevin Durant was there. Damon Lillard was there.
Absolutely. Sure.
They had studs on that floor, and they lost by 3 to a team that the last time they played them, they beat them by 61.
And again, I think this just goes to the players don't care. You know, I mean, they really just don't care. And they're in there to do nothing more than to get their advertising money from their sponsors, right? From whether it's Adidas or Nike or whoever. They want to get that money. Did you see it? I don't even know if it was on TV anywhere. I mean, nobody cared.
Yeah, it was on NBC Sports Network.
Oh, all right. Well,
they're the Olympics now,
I think yeah, that's true. I don't. There's no juice for this team, you know. But again, I think it goes hand in hand with there's no real juice for this Olympics. I mean, maybe there will be at some point for gymnastics for the second half of the Olympics, but right now nobody really cares.
It's just, like we talked about this last week, that this is the first time in the memory that I have of the Olympics where I was, all right, the Olympics are coming, big deal. And I've never been like that before. I even watched the 2016 Olympics because it was the Olympics. But the 2020 Olympics that are now in the 2021 year, but they're refusing to call them the 2021 Olympics. They're still going to call them the 2020 Olympics, which makes no sense to me. And now there'll be no spectators in the stands. There'll be nothing. It's going to be a sad reminder of the pandemic because there'll be no fans in the seats and everything. It's just, can we just cancel them and go in 2024 and say, hey, the pandemic canceled them, let's move on?
Well, I don't like to do that just because some of those people have, you know, there's some archer who's lived his whole world revolves on this 2-week span. So I don't want to cancel it. I just don't have to care about it. It's very, very important to someone.
But my whole financial career at one point depended on the 5 nights I did trivia. They got canceled. I do it 1 night a week now because of the pandemic. Why does an Olympic athlete get a better advantage than I do?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because
I've worked my whole life at trivia.
You can do trivia your whole life. This may be the only opportunity some of these people ever get to be in the Olympics because of their physical prowess and their athletes.
It's a target with a black.
It's a very, very short window.
It's a target. It's a target 25 yards away.
Look, it's not the athlete's fault that there's a pandemic. Now, if you want to say we're banning the Chinese, I'm like, okay, let's do that. But no, you can't do that. You don't have to watch, Tom.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault there's a pandemic
that you don't care about.
It's not my fault.
Don't watch it.
It's not my fault there was a pandemic, yet I'm having to pay for it by less revenue.
Sure.
It's not their fault there wasn't a pandemic. Sorry about your life work. Move on. Go get a job. Go get a job at Costco. Selling, giving the samples out. What do I care?
Somebody's really bitter today. I mean, why do you care if they're going to have an Olympics or not?
Because I like the Olympics, but this one I don't like.
Well,
I don't like
watch it.
No, I'm not watching it.
Then don't watch it.
Not watching it.
Then don't watch it. All right. Well, then you'll teach them.
I'll show them.
Watch it was in 2020.
I'll show them.
Watch a few events, right? Exactly. Yeah. I mean, all according to Tom.
And by the way, we're sitting here saying this. Yeah. You know as well as I do. If track and field's on, I'm watching. If gymnastics is on, I'm watching.
Oh, there you go.
If I'm in a bar or restaurant and the men's basketball team's on, I'm watching.
Well, I probably won't watch 90% of it.
But does anybody watch 100%? I mean, that's all I ever watch, about 10%, 15%. I find out when the sprint races are. I find out when the finals are for the individual and team gymnastics. And I may watch a little of the golf and a little of the basketball. And that's pretty much it.
Historically, what I've watched is like the judo. I think is really fun to watch, believe it or not. And so if that's on, I'll watch that like in the background. And then, depending on how the boxing looks, I haven't even started watching or getting into the boxing. I would watch boxing. So.
Boxing's lost its charm with me. Although UFC's not much better now with me, so maybe I'm just getting to where I'm getting to where I just hate sports.
I've been there. Hopefully you'll get over it. I mean, there's a time I could care less about sports or, they're trying to make cornhole an Olympic game.
I will tell you this I'll tell you this after the break. I watched something last night on the channel I said I'd never watch again. I lied because I watched it last night. I'll tell you what that was. Coming up next, Galen Unall from Life South. He's still with us, brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden, just shipped in Penn Flooring. We'll be right back after this short timeout.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Welcome back to Ocala Talk. On a Monday, that's right, it's a Monday of nice weather up until the afternoon. Summer storms will be back. But it does get me less than 2 weeks till I must leave this place. And Joe Martone takes over for 2 days on the radio. Unless they bring Galen in. Galen, you may come into studio Thursday and Friday of next week. They may have you in studio. You never know.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I gotta go to work.
Yeah. And this masquerades as work. Let's be honest. Can we just be honest?
There you go.
So last night I watched a show I was highly anticipating its debut. It's going to be a 10-part series. They had part 1 and 2 last night on a channel that I try never to watch, and yet when they have a show like this, because of the history guy and the trivia guy, I have to watch. Last night, Galen, from 9 to 11, I was glued to CNN.
Okay.
They had a show. They have the first and second part of a 10-part series called The History of the Sitcom. Last night they went through the sitcom, the family aspect of the sitcoms, from Ozzie and Harriet and Leave It to Beaver all the way through Shameless, which is on Showtime. And then they went through, the second part was the influence of sex in the sitcom, to no sex to Sex in the City. But it was a really informative look at the sitcom history until you got to the sitcoms of the 1990s, the 2000s, 2010s, and then took a very surprise political tone on how they explained sitcoms of today and recent memory. when you think sitcom, what pops into your head right away?
Well, Seinfeld. That's I probably I don't know the last one I've watched besides Seinfeld. I was never really into Friends, right? So I'd have to really think if there was a sitcom I watched after Seinfeld.
Seinfeld was when you think sitcom, that's the first one that comes to my mind, of course, as well. But they talked about Mad About You, and they talked about how there was no kids involved, so it was more about the marriage, and that was groundbreaking. And then they talked about, they talked about the family unit and how the Brady Bunch was going to be, a widowed dad and a divorced mom. But then the censors were like, no. Let's just leave it. We never know how they became parents of 3 children each and not still with their father and mother of the original marriage. So they never told you really how that happened in the Brady Bunch. And it wasn't until One Day at a Time was the first time they openly showed a divorced mom, single mom trying to get, and they talk about Good Times and they talk about Archie Bunker and everything. And then they get to the new stuff, and it took as I knew it had to do, it took a real political turn in how they were, up until just after Seinfeld, they talked to people from the past, Norman Lear and people like that. And then from after Seinfeld to the present, they started talking to political analysts and CNN anchors. And I'm like, this is a tale of two shows. The first part talks about the history of, sitcoms, and they give you a political narrative the last 20 minutes, and it's 2-hour segments. So really, I was kind of enjoying the first half, kind of disappointed with the second half, but I guess I shouldn't have been because it's CNN.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know why you think that's history in any way, shape, or form.
Well, the sitcom has shaped television through the years. I mean, I Love Lucy was iconic.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, I think it's more Hollywood history than anything else, but it hasn't shaped the world in any way.
No. Well, CNN talks about. They do these shows now. If you've noticed, they're also putting out a show called the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, as they're going through and looking at, how those decades were. So, but it's all with a spin. I shouldn't be surprised. Everything comes with a spin these days. I mean, it's their network, it's their shows. They can produce them and spin them however they want, but. Just a part of me wishes somebody would just let the politics alone and just talk about the actual history and not the politics of the history. That's never going to happen again, is it?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, not after watching CNN. I mean, I can't imagine watching that show, so I can't really comment. There's just no way I would find that interesting.
Well, it's because you're not a trivia guy like I am. See, I got like 6.
What does that have to do with what this?
Well, I literally wrote down 6 trivia questions out of the 2 shows that I watched last night. That's why.
Did you verify that they were actually true?
Yeah. I go back and do once I get the questions before I use them. I'll go back and make sure that they're 100% accurate before I use them. Sure.
All right. Well, there you go then. I'm good.
Sure, of course I will. But like one of them I know the answer without even thinking about it. And it was, what was the name of the super or maintenance man on One Day at a Time? It's not really history, but it's a trivia question. And, I was reminded of his name last night on the show. So there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Right. I use it. And,
there you go.
It was pretty good.
All right.
But
was it Mr. Roper?
It was not. It was not Mr. Roper.
Face.
Although Mr.
I can
Roper,
picture his face, but I can't.
Although Mr. Roper was prominent on last night's show as they talked about the angst that the gay community felt when Mr. Roper would come in and have his stereotypical snide remarks to Jack Tripper, who was, by the way, playing a fake homosexual, so he wasn't a real homosexual, and so that kind of made fun of the homosexuality. And there goes the politics of it. So you're right. I probably shouldn't watch any more of it, but I watched it last night. It was. I thought it was going to be done real well. You know, because you ever watch those VH1s behind the music and stuff like that? They're done really well. I was hoping CNN would do this history of the sitcom.
They haven't done a VH1 behind the music that's been good in years, 20 years.
Yeah, but I haven't watched it in 20 years. But you remember the concept.
There you go.
You remember the concept.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping the concept was going to be here.
All right. Oh, there you go. There you go.
And it was not. It wasn't even close to that.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
But would Fox News have done it any different? They'd have just gave you the right wing slant. They'd have told you why Father's Day was so great, and why Ozzie and Harriet was so great, and why June Cleaver with her pearls should be the mother symbol of the 21st century. I mean, they'd have done the same hatchet job, just the other way.
Yeah, but to expect the news agency to be able to pull something off like that, I'm like, okay, you know, it'd be one thing if it was on, I don't know, the Discovery Channel or the History Channel would have done a better job. But CNN's just trying to get numbers from anything.
Well, because nobody's watching a news broadcast, so they got to get numbers from somewhere.
There you go. It's middle of July.
I will tell you this weekend that over the weekend my fiance Susan gave me a directive on Friday. I'm not real happy about it, Galen. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was given the yellow sheet of paper and was told, "You figure out what we need in the house from the grocery store."
Oof.
So I had to make the list.
I mean, I just go at that point. I'm like, all right, I'll be back. I'll just go and put stuff in the cart, and then, that way, if it's not right, well, this is what I thought we needed. Yeah, I'm not making a list.
Oh no! I was making the list because I didn't want to, I have to do this once every 6-7 months. If I mess it up one time, she'll probably make me do it a second time to try to make sure I get it right. So I was not going to mess it up. I got everything she wanted on the list without her telling me what should be on the list. So I actually accomplished something. But I got a few things, and she was like, "Huh?" I said, "Well, shouldn't send me to the grocery store, huh?" If you don't like that, shouldn't have sent me to the grocery store.
Yeah, we're doing the prepared meals now by local, and it's just fantastic.
The prepared meals really, they're a little more pricey. Are they a little more pricey than the grocery store, or is it about the same?
No, it's about the same, and we're it's more of a balanced meal that we don't have to, we just pop in the oven and cook. And this guy's, he's well known. He's been in the community for a very, very long time. So, and they're fantastic. So.
Over in the former Albertsons parking lot, I would take it.
That's correct. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, but I did make, because I went to the store and I was the one doing the shopping, I did get the ground pork sausage, mild pork sausage, and the ground chuck, and combined those in a frying pan and browned them up with a little green pepper and onion and olive oil. Then I took the tomato sauce and tomato paste and the crushed red peppers and some seasonings and everything, and I combined them all into the slow cooker. And for about 6 hours Friday night, I was cooking the spaghetti sauce. It was okay Friday night. It was edible Friday night. Saturday, top notch. Because you always gotta wait. You gotta wait. When we come back, I'm gonna give you a survey, and I want to see if you and I do what this survey says should be done. Because if we're not, we may be missing out. I'll talk about that next.
Survey says?
Yep.
Are you going to kiss me?
Well, there you go. I'm not kissing you. We'll come back on the other side with this survey. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA. The Sword.
broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport. This is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370